Hello and welcome to Dr. Keel's Workshop. Today I want to talk about automatic gate openers. The problem with these type of gate openers is they're linear actuators, and so the largest amount of force is in a linear direction. The problem when you're closing gates though is that you're having to move that force through an arc. And what happens is, depending on how you mount this, you lose a lot of the force that this opener can generate. So if you look at the diagram that came with the installation manual, you can see there that they recommend mounting the base of the opener to the upright post where the hinge of the gate is, and then mounting the gate bracket several feet down. And that's how I used to have it on this gate, but that gate opener went bad, and so I had to buy a new one. The problem is depending on the time of year, because as my gate closes, it's actually having to push uphill just a little bit, and these type of metal gates, when they open, they want to flex. It was having a difficult time closing it. And the reason is because if you think about it, when that linear actuator is pushing, when it gets to the point where the gate is almost closed, it's basically pushing down the length of the gate instead of perpendicular to the gate. And if you remember about anything about physics, there's a thing called force vectors, so that when you're pushing something at an angle, there's a certain amount of the force generated in both the X and Y axes, which determines how much force is actually exerted on the object that you're pushing. The bottom line is when you have the end of the gate opener mounted to the post like I used to have, and then you have the other end, the gate end, actually attached to the gate 3 or 4 feet down, you're losing about 60% or more of your closing force by the time it gets almost to the point it's going to close the gate. So it becomes much more work on the opener to actually push the gate closed. So in order to remedy that situation, I built this little bracket here, and this is actually the bracket that used to mount the other direction to where the gate was mounted, so that's why it's got several holes in it. But what I did was, using the concept of torque, by welding this 1 foot piece, and then I put a piece at a 45-degree angle just to support it so that it won't move, and then this is attached to the gate, and you actually want it as close as you can to the pivot point on the gate, because that way you get the greatest amount of force. Now what happens when this thing closes, instead of all the force being pushed at a very acute angle of about 80 degrees when it's trying to close, then now we have a very mild angle, and if you look at that, that's about 5 to 10 degrees. And so basically now, instead of losing 60 to 70% of your force, now you're only losing about 10%, because it's basically pushing in a direct line. So the way this works, but when you push it closed, now basically the linear actuator is moving in almost a straight line, because it's using the torque to close the gate. And now it's closed. So what I did was basically move the bracket. Instead of mounting it on the post right here, I moved it down the fence. And the other thing that's important is when you're mounting this, you want your opener as level as possible, so that way you're not trying to push up or down. And then But if you try this, I think it'll make your, if you're having difficulties with your openers, this will make things work a whole lot easier, because again, instead of getting only 25% of your force, closing force at the point at which your gate is almost closed, now you're getting about 90% of your closing force. So it puts a lot less stress on your opener, which hopefully will make it last a lot longer than the other one that I had that failed after about 2 years. So I hope this video tip helps, and thanks for watching my channel. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more interesting videos. Have a great day.